I'm in a lot of pain. I'm sore.
Were you aware that your opponent said his goal was to break your femur?
Oh, no, it wasn't. Good for him. I wish I would have known that because I would have obliged with my goal was to break your face. I think I accomplished that.
How does it feel to get back in the win column after everything you've been through?
It feels amazing. But honestly, I feel like I could have sit here and said the same thing if it didn't go that way because I kind of flipped the script on finding happiness in just the victories, you know what I mean? And I've said this in the 19 other interviews that I just did, but I've enjoyed the process and I've enjoyed every moment of being here for fight week. And even if I didn't get the nod, I left it all out there, and there was nothing else that I could have done. And so if that's what it would have been, then that's what it would have been.
Do you mean that you're finding happiness in things like media day or weigh-ins or whatever? Or do you mean,
just being in the moment, being present, you know what I mean? But getting back to training every day and growing as a fighter and a martial artist and just growing in life in general and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more than just fucking wins and losses, you know?
Was that the kind of fight that you expected from him?
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a tailor-made fight for me. I feel like in a lot of ways I was looking at myself, a younger version of myself. Not saying he's younger, but earlier on in my career. A lot of the things, just a really, not afraid to engage you in the firefight. A guy that mixes it up well with the kicks, a guy that's got a hell of a chin. I've seen a lot of myself in him, and maybe that's what it was. I was in there battling myself and conquering a few demons, and I needed this victory. Like I told you earlier this week, I just needed that little bit of that little spark. And we're gonna get back in the gym and get better. We're gonna watch the tape, put this behind us, and progress and move forward. But I think the biggest thing we can take away from this fight is overcoming the mental battles.
Did you feel like you were winning on the scorecards when it went into the third, or was that?
I did. But who knows? One of the judges told me when I walked out of the cage that I was ahead on the scorecards. Mike had heard something else, but that doesn't really matter. Hopefully, maybe Dana saw it as me being behind on the scorecards and then came back with a knockout victory, and now I can get this bonus. It'd be a really big day.
You were tied on 2 scorecards and ahead on 1.
Okay.
So.
See? Bisbee, go shove it. 1-1.
So they gave
1 round to one person. He not good at math. Anyways.
What's next?
Like I said, go home, rest up, spend some time with my kids, and get back in the gym and just get better. Just get better, The phone calls will come. Mick knows I answer every fucking phone call he gives me. I think I've had 13 fights in the UFC, and maybe 3 of them I've had a full fight camp for. But now we're not taking fights on short notice because we need the money. We're taking fights on short notice because we're stayed ready, And I think that's important and that's huge.
You don't have anybody you want to call out or a date specific that you'd like to fight on?
I want to fight in Texas. I want to fight anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon, from Texas to Florida. I want to fight in front of a fucking crowd. It's been over 3 years since I fought in front of a crowd. And I want to fight on a pay-per-view card. I fought on 1 pay-per-view card and I got fight of the night. And you know what I mean? Like I want my spine to tinkle when I walk out that arena,
Thank you.
Congrats, my man, on the win. You said media day you had a story to tell. Are we allowed to hear that, or is that like a long-term?
No, this is just the story of who I am in my life and all the trials and tribulations, and just a story that every fighter has to tell. You know what I mean? And I think not necessarily meaning it verbally, but if you pay close enough attention to, the fighters in that cage, there's a story being told every time. And my story isn't just to be here. That's not it, I want to leave a legacy,
Excellent. And let me circle back to your fight, your performance, however you want to rate it. I know you'll be your hardest critic, but your hands looked on point. Mm-hmm. You had those 1-2s connecting, but in third is when you forward punch combination.
Yeah.
You rattled off just along the cage, that berserk attack.
Yeah, I was telling them that, I was trying to let the combinations go, but then at the same time, I didn't want to, a lot of times when I was gauging in the longer combination, I was getting caught up in this firefight and just, I felt like they were just winging it. And I wanted to stay a little bit more poised and more technically sound. But when I did find that state of flow, you know what I mean? It's a thing of beauty. And that's one thing that I'm trying to stay in touch with, you know what I mean? Just getting there and staying poised and not thinking, you know what I mean? Just letting the hands do the talking and moving, just dancing on a motherfucker.
But you definitely found, you had that distance, your timing, rhythm, pow.
Yeah.
And then you told your corner, we could pick it up on the mic. You're like, I'm going to knock him out now. What did you see? I mean, obviously you executed that to perfection, but what was the opening?
I knew the right hand was going to land. I just had to get it. I just had it land. I landed on another one in an earlier round, and I know that it clipped him, but he's got a hell of a chin. And I know if he survived that last onslaught, I was just like, man, what the hell? Because I know I hit hard. You know what I mean? And I hit hard effortlessly. You can ask those guys. Their shoulders are fucked from holding pads. They don't, you know what I mean? And you look at the record. I mean, what is it? 16 wins, 15 knockouts, 14 in the first round. So, and now, earlier in my career, there was no head movement. Now you can kind of see, like, there's, you know what I mean? I'm slipping punches, and it's coming together. It just takes a little bit of progression. But I always told people it's the thing between my ears that's been holding me back, because I can't. There's very few heavyweights out there that's as good of an athlete as I am. I believe that. I believe it.
Excellent. Well done, sir, and awesome performance.
Thank you so much.
Chase, what's the biggest thing that you've done to try to address the mental side going into this? Is this something that you've worked with your team? Is this something I know a lot of athletes at times go to sports psychologists or just talking to friends. What's really been the key for you in switching it around going into this particular fight?
Well, just do a few different, modalities, man. I've been, this is a mental game. It's a mental game. Now, how many fighters do you know that are sitting back and training their mind just as much as they're training their body? You can't tell me that this isn't 90% mental, because it is. Most individual sports are. So I was trying to figure out, what is it that I can do to help with that? And a lot of the research that I've done, is meditation, reading, anything that's keeping me mindful in the moment, in the present moment, because it's far too often we wear ourselves out with the mental battle way before we ever step in the cage. The fear, the anxiety, the worries, everything else that goes on. You know what I mean? What are the people going to think? Am I going to let people down? How am I going to pay my bills if I lose this fight? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And you haven't even left the fucking hotel room yet, and you've already been defeated. Now you tell me I got to go out there and fight? No. And so doing things that help me stay present in the moment and mindful. And meditation is one of them, reading, writing, and I found that a lot of Alan and one of my other coaches, we were all kind of going through this same process and figuring things out this simultaneously in our life. And so we've all been there for each other, just kind of helping each other. And, man, it was a blessing having Alan back in my corner. You know what I mean? He's been there since day one. So.
And working with that mental side, do you feel that by being able to clear your mind and using the meditation, do you feel that helps you get into that flow state earlier, or is that something separate?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was what it is. You know what I mean? Because do this guided meditation. Like I do like sports guided meditations, sports competition or whatever else is going on in my life, And but it's trying to help you tap into that state of flow, because that state of flow is not a thought. It's a deep-seated feeling. You know what I mean? It's a silent confidence. And I mean, anybody that's played sports, you know what I mean? They can tell you those few moments that they've tapped into that, and it's almost like an out-of-body experience, because you get out of the head and you get into the body, and you just flow, and that's it. And the best fighters in the world, they can tap into that all the time. And if I can figure that out and get that going, it's game over.
Do you feel that that's where you entered at that point in the third round, or did you have moments of that throughout the fight?
I had moments of it. When you see me bobbing my head and smiling and moving. I had moments, but we talked about that. Sometimes that flow got disrupted. He'd land a decent combination, and I had to kind of get back into it. But, yeah. So.
And that finishing sequence on him, once you started having him hurt, could you tell at that point that he was really damaged, that if you just were able to keep continuing the strikes, that you eventually would bring him down?
I wasn't thinking, I don't know. I just was like, I might keep hitting this son of a bitch until something happens. You know what I mean? I was just trying to stay poised, but, I was like, if this fight don't get stopped, I might have an adrenaline dump right here. So I might as well go ahead and leave it all out on the line,
Where you at contract-wise with the UFC?
Just got re-signed when I took that fight on short notice.
Yep.
On the last one. And then, so I'm on the second fight of that contract.
Very good. Well, I guess the last thing, when you had that moment, after a couple losses, but then coming out there and having such a spectacular finish, I mean, does that just reinvigorate the work that you've done at this point? I mean, do you feel like a brand new you, like your career, you're at 1-0 at this point with your mindset and where you're at?
No, because there's always room for growth, and I got to keep growing. I got to keep practicing. There's never an end goal, and that's the thing. It's not about the end goal. It's about the journey, and so yeah, we're just gonna keep doing the things that I need to do and see where it goes.
Still enjoying the journey?
That's right. That's all you can do.
Very cool. Congrats on the victory.
Thank you, brother.